Hello everyone, Kevin from KTech Services back again for another educational digitizing video. Today we're going to be working with two-color script in Wilcom. I was asked a question about doing this on the custom artwork vector and then importing it in, digitizing it, etc. Customer is using Wilcom, and she just wanted to know the proper way or easy way. This is just the way that I found to do it. Okay. So I have my profile set to Melco, first off, just so you know, working with Wilcom Embroidery Studio Digital Edition. Um, so the key here, all my other videos I've done, is depending on the machine that you are working with, make sure you set the profile for it. Wilcom actually, under design and under select machine type, they have machine files for pretty much quite a few manufacturers here. And obviously we're working with Melco today, so we just want to make sure that we're setting it to Melco. Okay, if you're using a different machine, you just make sure that you go in here and select the right profile, because it's important, because when it saves the embroidery machine file, it puts the right parameters for your machine that you're working with. Okay, it's really, really, really important. Okay, okay, this is the way that I do it. So we're going to basically, now I know most copies, depending on the level of Wilcom that you get a copy of Corel. I don't like the connection. I just don't like it. I'll go into more later details. Now, of course, my Coreldraw is separate from the link into Wilcom. So, and plus, I'm using a newer version than what they give you in the Wilcom that I have is 2024, and I'm using 2025. Okay, so now granted, if that's all you have, then you can use it, but I don't like the toolbars I mean, I like to set my toolbars up a certain way. Every time I use it, it resets back to default, and it drives me nuts. I don't know if but my newer version doesn't do that. I don't understand it. So, okay, enough of that. Okay, so I'm just going to go, I got my Coreldraw. Obviously I have it set up the way I like it. So property and object is probably the only two that you really need, but in this case it's going to be pretty simple. I'm just going to go my letter tool, type in my text that my customer was doing, and I'll just call it KTech. Okay, and let's see, the font that she was using, I'm going to highlight that, is okay, and then I'll do the drop down here. Let me find the font that she was using. It was kind of a scripty. There we go. That's the one she was using. And then I want it now. Granted, I'm going to make it 12 inches across. I am. I'm going to click off that. I am going to change it to tabloid because we're doing a jacket back size, so I'm going to switch it to the 11 by 17. I am going to take it off portrait and go to landscape. So I can actually do this. Okay, so that's the text that she wanted, let's say, or the font. And then now, granted, if you want it spaced apart like that, great. You can go to the shape tool and then grab this little tool if you don't know it, and then bring them a little closer together. I usually like it to the point where it just barely touches, and then I can grab this a little bit and move that down a little bit. Now, if I want them close together. Okay, I'm good there. And we're good there. Now, Grant, I normally would put a second color around it, but Wilcom actually has another feature that I found that works the best. It doesn't quite work well enough the way that I usually do it, but that's beside the point. Okay, so all right, so we have that. Colors fine. Now we need to we need to do a couple things that Wilcom is going to like the language. So what I usually do is I'll go ahead and highlight this, and you kind of see it's a lettering element right now, but I'm going to go to object, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say break apart. So that broke it apart into individual letters. Okay, then either if how you want to do a select all, I usually do imaginary box. Okay, I select all, go back to object, and then convert to curves, control Q if you want to do a short keyboard on Windows. And then again, it's highlighted, but make sure it's all highlighted, which it is obviously. Go to object again. The last one is Control Shift Q from convert outline to object. Okay, and that's going to break it down another layer. Okay, now I'm going to draw imaginary box or select all, and then I'm going to copy this. Now this is going to only really work in this scenario, just so you know, as long as you have Coreldraw and Wilcom on the same system. If you don't, I'll show you another thing here in a second. But I'm going to flip over to Wilcom and I'm going to do a file and a new. And at this point, I could just do a file and paste, and then voila, there's my text. Okay, and if you don't, now this is going to be a little tricky here. If you don't, if you're Wilcom and your CorelDRAW on two separate systems, then you have to save a file. Okay, you can't do copy and paste. Okay, good. So let me go back over to Corel. So what you have to do, since you have to kind of find out what version of Corel that gave you, or what, because then you have to save it to do this, to get it in right. You'll have to kind of save the file to a lower version of that. Hopefully that makes some sense. So right now with mine, let's see, I know I have, let's see, I have it here. Okay, so I got to make sure that I usually will save it to 2022 version, because that's the version that Wilcom gave me. Okay, and then save that. Okay, that's CDR, because you have to, because you're working with a newer version. Well, I am, okay, in a sense. So now I'll flip back over to Wilcom, and then I'll do a file new again. And this is where the little tricky part comes in. You can't really import it. It just won't come through right. You have to go to the free or the included version of Corel. And now this is going to pop up with um, uh, the 2024 version. And, of course, it's loading it right now. And and then what you have to do is you have to or you have to import it in. I know it's kind of weird. So let me query here. Let's see, KTech. I have it. Let's see, where is it? There. That's yeah, that's the one I just saved. Okay, so go ahead and import that, and then it brings it out here. I know this is kind of weird. Now you don't need to really do anything else but to select it and then copy it. Okay, from here, and then you can go click on workspace, and it should actually yeah, see, it imported it over already. So I know that's weird, but it's just the way that Wilcom does it, or I should say it's the way that what I want to bring the vector. Right now, that's the one I copied and paste, but obviously this is the one that it brought through from a file aspect. So I know that's kind of the way to get vector artwork into. Now, granted, I know there's other ways of doing it, but that's just the way that there's a reason why I want it this way, because I'm going to show you the reason why I do it that way. Okay. Um, we'll stick with that, where these are vector information on either one, because obviously one's a copy and paste, the other one's a file, same language that we needed it in. So what I'm going to do now to do this, to get into stitches, is I can do, well, of course, if you have the instant smart design feature, just click on that. It'll convert it to a fill stitch because of the size factor that it sees. That's fine. The line direction is not the way I like it, but that's going to be part two. I'm going to show you, but this is just a quick way to actually do this. And then from there, of course, you could change the color. If you want. Okay, I'll just make it to a green. Now I'm going to put the color around it. Okay, so to do this, you go to outlines. Okay, feature here. I usually have my overlap method set to the third one to the right. Color is fine. The width, I usually might. That's about 0.60. 0.50. It doesn't. I mean, I'll show you why we're going to do a sat column C for the border. Okay. I usually have it set to the left one here on the bottom. Everything else keep the same. Click OK. It'll build the outline stitch and the line direction properly. Okay. That's the reason why I can't do it the way I usually do it, because Wilcom will not understand and actually do the line direction properly. Okay. They just do it a different way. Okay. And that's fine. Okay, so we have the border. Now, usually what I'll do in this case, real quick, is obviously this is done. Now, granted, let's see. I'm gonna hit that on my object list, and so I'm highlighted. And right now I'm 10 inches, so we're gonna make it 10 inches exactly. Okay. The reason why that it did that is because the graphic is turned on. You can go to graphic and then say hide the graphic. There you go. If you want to put a hoop on there, I can hit auto hoop, and then it'll put a square hoop. Now, granted, it doesn't have all hoop parameters. I'm going to look into that more and hopefully update something on that. But because it doesn't have too many mighty hoops for some reason, but I'll look into that. So this is actually ready to go, but obviously I would want to do some touch-ups on it. It does it pretty good. I'll take True Drew. It actually overlapped pretty well. Now, of course, on the other video, I'll kind of explain about, adjusting it if you need to. There's probably a couple things I need to do, but I'm going to make that a part two on the next video. But I just wanted to show you that this I'm doing, getting the artwork, vectorize and then bring it in and then auto digitize it for a two color scenario. Okay. And all right, so this is actually it of part one. I appreciate you stopping by. Please give a thumbs up and a like, and we can continue on with these videos. And we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for stopping by.